Good evening. This is the Wednesday, November 10th, 2021 meeting of the Peralta Community College District Bond Measure Oversight Committee. Can we have a roll call, please, from Kathy Neal?
Chair Dawson,
Here.
Member Crowley,
Here.
Member Herbert, absent. Member Ellis,
Present.
Member Scott. You do have a quorum.
Thank you. So the next topic is approving the meeting agenda.
Okay. Andrea, this is Marcus Crawley. I'd like to make a couple of comments about that. And my first comment about the agenda is that I think that since this CBOC that we have is an independent CBOC, I think, Andrea, that you should be doing roll call rather than deferring to the district. I just like to jealously guard every little advantage that we can have to show our independence. So that's just a comment there. But I do have another comment, and that is regarding this agenda role here. Last time, at our previous meeting, I believe, I suggested that this membership chart be corrected, and I thought we all agreed on that, and that it would show the categories, it would show the term of appointment and which appointment it is, so that it'd be much more comprehensive than it is right now. And whoever started this chart probably several years ago really didn't use the statement from the education code as far as categories go. For example, like me, the category has under it says taxpayer organization. Well, that's not what the education code states as my category. It says bona fide member, active member of a bona fide taxpayers association. In other words, it's plural possessive association. Doesn't say taxpayer organization. So both of those words are wrong. So I would like to see this chart brought up to date and be accurate and comply with the education code statements.
Well, I'm going to say that in concept, I agree with you, and I think this could be pretty easily cleaned up as far as what our representation is, because I definitely agree with you that it should be accurate to what is required by Ed Code. And so, for instance, Ben Scott, who we are so happy to have as a member, there needs to be some clarity about exactly what role he is fulfilling, and it's certainly easy enough to do, I believe, based on having 2 vacant seats. But I know he was appointed last year, so I think your points are well taken. I don't believe on this. I would like to see our terms on the website. I don't think it's necessary to show our terms here, but I do believe that it should be accurate in who we represent.
Okay, well, I would like to put it on an agenda item to discuss next meeting so that everybody, all of the members can weigh in and give their opinions and their pros and cons. Thank you for your opinion, and thank you for letting me express my opinion about it. I also have some other comments regarding the agenda today. Is now a good time for me?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, so one of the things that we talked about last time and agreed upon is that near the beginning, we would have a standing, we would have a standing agenda item for establishing future agenda items. Now, what the minutes said was that we're at near the beginning, we're going to establish the next agenda. No, that's not what we said, but we should have one so that we can all offer our ideas before we are tired and rushed and leave early or whatever. So near the beginning of the agenda, we should have a standing item of what future agenda item that we would like to talk about. And also, I wanted to say that in our previous meeting, we agreed that the agenda, either on the left-hand side or right-hand side, somewhere or other, is going to state what agenda type it is, whether it's a procedural agenda item or a action item or information or what it is. And we agreed on it. We all agreed on it, and it's not here. So let's, I don't know.
I have a suggestion.
Yeah,
Why don't, I'd like to hear other people's thoughts on this, but at the same time, my suggestion is that you mark this up and you can send it into Kathy and I believe I technically can share it as long as people aren't sharing back and forth with each other. And so if any other folks would like to mark this up and have comments about it, that they send that in for discussion. But certainly some of the items that you're bringing forward have merit. And so I'd like to hear from Patricia and Benjamin if they have any thoughts on this.
okay, well, just let me make one short comment about that.
Okay.
Ordinarily, when I've seen agendas that have the agenda type on them, they're on some kind of little chart. And so they're in a big box, and over on the right-hand side, they have a column. And I don't have the capacity to make that kind of box and that kind of column. So I would rather see our help from the district just do what I suggested. And I also referenced that the district agendas follow this same. So I'm just saying that let's have ours very similar to the way that a district has an agenda. That's all. Thank you.
Chair Dawson, I can send the agenda in Word format to everyone if they'd like to more easily mark it up. I believe it was sent out as a PDF.
Okay, so any thoughts, Patricia or Benjamin?
I agree with Marcus that things that are discussed in a meeting are not taking, I guess action is not being taken on them. And so they're being ignored, if I could say it that way. And so then every week Marcus has to keep bringing up some of the same things that are voted on and are discussed in the meetings. And I just think moving forward, we shouldn't have a meeting if the items have not been corrected, because then we spend too much time talking about what has not been completed. And so I just think there needs to be some type of dialogue, some type of communication, so that we can move forward and taking action on the items on the agenda that need some type of attention.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. So Benjamin, do you have any thoughts?
I don't have any comments. Thank you.
Okay, so I have one other item that is related to this, I believe. And that is when we post or we ask the district to post any item on the agenda, I'll give you the example of item 6, bond status and program spending update. I would assume that was going to be a presentation that is not just, we're just talking about this. So anything that it has a attachment related to it should be posted with the agenda so that anybody from the public can also look at it and have an opportunity to digest it and have questions. And importantly, our committee too. So, you know, I believe that 6 and 7, I'm guessing that probably item 7 might have a slideshow to it too. It will not just be Shonda Scott presenting to us in discussion. So that, and then the draft of the previous Citizens Bond Oversight Report. So we actually have context to what we're being presented. So in the future, I'd like to see that. So when you send the Word document, I'll make some notes on it, and as I know Mark as well, and I believe Patricia. Okay. So can we move on to the next item, item 3?
Chair Dawson, you might want to note for the record that member Scott has joined us. He was not there during the roll call.
Pardon me?
You might want to note for the record that member Scott has joined us. He was not present during the roll call.
Oh, and who is that?
So Andrea, one thing before we move on is that we haven't agreed on these minutes. We should take a vote on it.
No, I'm not to the minutes yet. We're talking about.
Excuse me, the agenda. So it started out, you asked if we're going to approve the agenda. I had some comments. We have not yet approved the
Apologize.
agenda.
Apologize. So, I motion that we approve the agenda for this evening with the considerations for a future agenda that we have discussed.
I second that.
Okay, so I would like Kathy to take the roll call on that.
Sorry, I was on mute. Chair Dawson,
Yes,
member Crowley,
Yes,
member Ellis,
Yes,
member Scott.
did he drop off? I think we lost him.
I think we lost him.
Okay,
Yeah, it looks
well,
like we lost him.
we still have a quorum, so we will continue on and hopefully he can get back on the call. So we're now, I believe, technically, before I move on, I believe I have to ask if there's any comments from the public on item 2. Seeing none, I will move on to item 3, approved minutes from June 9th and October 13th.
Andrea, can we separate those two and take them up separately, please?
Certainly. So let's first talk about June 9th, 2021 meeting minutes.
Yes.
Any comments, Marcus Crowley?
Yes, Andrea, I've made some objections to the June 9th minutes. And basically, my objection is that at the bottom of the minutes, it mentions that we are going to have an October the 13th meeting. Well, we did not decide that. We never even considered October the 13th. What happened is that we had a meeting scheduled for July the 14th, and that meeting was not posted. So we skipped a month, and then we had August the 18th meeting scheduled, and after that, August the 25th, both of those were not posted, and so those were canceled. And finally, we had a meeting on September the 1st of this year, 2021. And we did not have a quorum. So, and at that September, the meeting, we said, okay, well, when are we going to have our next meeting? And we decided October the 1st. So we did not decide it way back in June. We are on June the 9th, we had no concept of it needing to be scheduled that far in advance. So I don't know how this note got on the bottom of it,
Okay,
but it was certainly not put there by Mark because Mark had already turned over the hat to somebody else
understand,
months before.
understand. So I think, what do you propose? We strike that and come back? Or do you want to table this?
I propose that our minutes of this meeting show the facts that I just put, and that we approve those minutes without the addition of the October meeting at the bottom of it.
So there's two ways to handle it. We either don't approve them this evening, or we approve them with that so noted change. And then I expect that you will be keeping track that that change has been made at our next meeting minute on our November, or else it would compound onto that. So how would you propose we do it?
Well, ask me that question again. I don't quite see the difference.
So we can agree to approve the minutes with the change that you have noted. Okay,
Yes,
and that will be carried into next month's minutes, which will actually be tonight's minutes. That correction will be noted.
okay, that's fine.
Okay. So then, what I expect, I think would be best to happen on this is that, so nobody does extra work, is that Kathy makes those corrections that we're talking about tonight, and then she can send them to you and I, and we can verify that that was taken care of before they post. Okay, so we don't have a compounded mistake.
Okay,
All right.
so therefore we should now vote on what you just suggested about June 9th minutes.
Agree. So we're going to vote on revising the minutes that do not state the items that the note at the bottom, the 629 to minutes. And that will be included, that correction will be included as noted in not only these minutes, but it will be noted in the November, like tonight's minutes and June's minutes, correct?
Right.
You're
It does get
correcting both.
it does get messy, doesn't it?
Yes.
Can I get clarification?
Sure.
Which, yeah, I'm a little confused, as Chair Dawson, I think, is. If I might suggest, the simplest way to handle this is to, for Member Crowley to move that the minutes be approved as amended. And the amendment would be to strike reference to the October meeting.
Correct.
That sounds fine. I would like to repeat what you just said, but I will just say I agree with what you said.
I agree with what you just said too, as long as they're posted that way. So Marcus, you're going to have to track it to see if they're posted that way.
Okay,
All right. So I think we can have the roll call on this. And I would like Kathy to do that. So please? So the motion is to approve the minutes from the June 9th, 2021, with the exception of striking the reference to a meeting that was not actually announced.
Okay. So Kathy is going to,
If we're ready, I'll do the roll call. Chair Dawson,
Yes,
Member Crowley,
yes,
Member Ellis,
Yes,
let me see, Member Scott.
Here,
Okay. Is that a yes vote?
yes,
Thank you.
okay, thank you. So now we are on to the discussion on a motion to approve or discuss the October 13th, 2021 meeting minutes.
um,
Marcus Crowley.
Andrea, may I speak?
Yes,
Okay. Andrea, I think that the minutes from last month were pretty messy. And so I did send to Kathy my suggested corrections. And I have, almost a dozen different corrections. And maybe I will quickly read through them. And then we need to develop a procedure by which we correct them in which we incorporate corrections in between minutes so that we don't have this kind of messy situation again. So anyway, regarding the minutes from October meeting, Crawley recommended that agenda item be listed as an action item to receive a vote for approval. Number 3A, public comment. I suggested that we have a standing item for public comments as procedural. On item 3, Crawley suggested that public comments have an asterisk note after them with the asterisk note down at the bottom saying that the public is invited to speak about non-agenda items. On agenda item number 4, Crawley opined at length on ACOM updates are inconsistent with the cost-saving measures, and the updates should be limited to 5 minutes. Now, I understand that Andrea disagreed with me on that, but nevertheless, that is what I said. And item number 5A is Andrea will work on the annual report alone. If so, the proposed minute says Andrea and I are going to work on it, and I specifically said I wouldn't have the time, and so Andrea volunteered to do it alone. So on that little item, it should be fairly self-explanatory. And now I understand what SLEB stands for, and explain the meaning of supplemental support, administrative support. Oh, on number 9, there's a typographical error. It repeats the word support twice. So that needs to be corrected.
so these are more complicated. And I'll give you my thought on one item on here. And that is your statement about yourself opining at lengthy AECOM updates are inconsistent with the purpose of a CBOC unless leads to cost-saving measures. And I think there's another way to say that you don't think that this has is necessary or has value, but I think that not you weren't the only one that had an opinion on that. And so as you stated, my opinion's different. And we're getting into the nitty gritty now of what folks are saying or not saying. So I feel like there's a way to maybe clean these up and say, I guess more. I guess I'll have to go back and listen to the tape. But so, because I actually think these updates are very important. I personally do. So, and I do think that it leads to finding out what's not happening to you can be misled about cost-saving measures or ways that the district is doing business and how the timelines of projects, because as I think I said at the last meeting, if it takes you 5 years to do a project that should have taken a year and a half, well, then you are not using cost-saving measures. So by contrast, you see that you're spending money unnecessarily of the taxpayers' dollars. I guess that's the easiest way for me to say it this evening. But I think that Marcus, you and I will have to, this is my opinion, we'll have to work on these together and come up with minutes that we can agree on and bring them back to the next meeting for the October minutes. And I'd like your thoughts, Shonda. I mean, Patricia, I know you were at the meeting, and Benjamin, I'm sorry that you missed because of the glitch, but Patricia, I'd like your thoughts on it. And of course, Benjamin, you can have an opinion too. So I see that.
So so are you asking for my opinion in regards to the agenda?
No, these minutes and how we correct them.
So if it's required that they be approved today, I would just say with the amendments, but I would just say moving forward in the future, when the person types them up or before they're actually completed to be distributed to the group, that there's some form of, I don't know if you could put it in a Google Doc and then track changes so that you don't have to keep retyping. It'll kind of show the changes, and then you can either accept or deny the changes based on the person adding the changes to the minutes, or meet maybe 5 or 10 minutes once a week or once a month before the meeting agenda is put out, so that the minutes are correct and the agenda is also correct. So we can save some time during our meeting.
Okay, so Benjamin, Scott, do you have thoughts on this?
I think they've already been amply expressed by other
Okay.
members.
All right.
Okay.
So Marcus, and then, yeah.
So Andrea, yes, for the most part, I agree with what you said. I don't think that, I think that doing the minutes on a discussion item is a work of art. And so I certainly am not saying that the minutes need to recall everything I said and everything you said. So what I'm saying, I think, is that they can quickly say, well, Marcus said that he disagrees that we need a major update every meeting, and Andrea said that she thinks there's a lot of value in it. So there is about 20 words that explains both of our points of view. And which is much better than just saying, oh, the agenda item was ACOM gave their presentation.
Yeah, no, I get that. So I think, so the question becomes, do we want to work on this together and clean it up?
Can I please, Chair, can I interject?
Yes, go ahead, Benjamin.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I've been on a lot of boards, too many boards. All the boards I've been on are action item minutes of action. They do not have, they're not a soliloquy of what people said or didn't say. They're action minutes. They're short, they're crisp, they're to the point.
Right.
I've been on the Oakland Rent Board for 15 years. They're action item minutes. We have 5-hour meetings that are like distilled into maybe 2 pages. And there's 9 rent board members. So if we went back and forth about what everybody said, I mean, we're going to be approving minutes ad nauseum in future meetings. So, I mean,
Right. I agree.
I'm
with
actually
you.
a little surprised at this discussion, to be blunt. And I don't know, shouldn't we have ironed out the kinks of what kind of minutes? Because there's many different types of agenda minutes. And so I maybe I'm jumping in, maybe I'm oversharing here. I don't really know, but most
No.
organizations I've ever been with are action item minutes, which are very, very simple and to the point.
Right, I agree with you. In most committees, there's actually someone in the committee that's taking the minutes, and then they're shared with the chair. And between the two of them, they correct them and post them, and they usually fly, and they're very succinct. But we are depending on staff, and so now we're picking at staff's, the art of the minutes. And so I would like that we, Marcus and I, work on this together to clean these October 13th up and come back to them next month, because I don't want to spend any more time on this. And I want to hear from Kathy what she has to say about this too, if you have a suggestion.
Thank you. If it is the pleasure of the committee, I can go back and Member Scott is correct. I like you've been on more boards than I probably want to remember. There are various ways of doing minutes, but if it is the pleasure of the committee to have more succinct minutes, so they are just primarily action item minutes, I could take the October 13 minutes and recast them and send them to you, Chair Dawson, and Member Crowley, to see if the more of an action, as Member Scott said, action item minutes is something that you prefer.
Okay, Marcus Crowley, and then
Thank you.
let's move on, and we've got a
so-
big agenda tonight.
So yes, in our discussion before, we've never had the concept of action item minutes. And if that's going to be our policy, that's just fine with me. I'm probably representative of many uneducated CBOC members that just don't have experience at meetings like this. So we don't know how it is commonly done. So yeah, if that's the way we're going to do it in the future, and say only action items shall include the discussion, that's great. At least that gives us clarity and a way forward.
Okay, well, let's have Kathy Neal retool these for us and send them out, and we'll take it up next month for the October 13, 2021 meeting minutes. So with that, can we go on to item 4, which is election of vice chair? So is anyone interested in being vice chair?
I'm willing to be vice chair. I would step aside if somebody else wants to do it.
So is anyone else interested in being vice chair?
I was going to nominate the distinguished lady who, I apologize, don't know her name, the one who spoke right before me.
Patricia Ellis.
Is that who it is?
Yes,
Sorry, I don't see all the screens.
it's Patricia Ellis. Patricia Ellis, would you be willing to take the nomination?
Yes.
Okay, so I think that given that Marcus Crowley said he would step aside and you're willing to take the nomination, you have been on the committee longer than Marcus and I, so I am putting forward your nomination as vice chair. Do I have a second on that? Marcus Crowley?
I second Patricia Ellis being vice chair. However, I do have a comment to make. She's been here on the committee the same length of time as you and me. We're both on the very first committee. So how is she here the longer than you and me? Andrea?
I apologize. I thought she was on a previous committee. So anyway, but that's a point well taken, but can we do the roll call? Kathy Neal for, I think Marcus said he would second, I nominated. And Benjamin, did you want to speak again?
I'm good.
Okay, all right, I thought I saw your hand, so, all right.
Oh,
So
if it was a mistake. My apologies.
yeah, no worries. Kathy Neal,
Yes, move Chair Dawson, second by Member Crowley. Member Ellis, your vote.
Aye.
Member Scott, your vote.
Aye.
And it's assumed that Chair Dawson and Crowley vote aye since they nominated and seconded. So we have a unanimous vote.
yes, thank you. Okay, so now we are up to item 5, which is public comment on non-agenda items. Okay, Mr. Crowley.
Okay. I sent out the message that the CBOC application link doesn't work on the website. So has that been fixed?
We are checking with AECom to get that fixed.
And why is AECom doing it? I thought that AECom is the general contractor for the bond program.
They are the program manager, and they are also responsible for the Build Peralta website. The work that's done on the website is done directly by a subcontractor to AECom.
Okay, thank you.
So can you just email all of us, I think, when it gets up and running?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So any other public comment from public or our committee?
Well, before we launch into the next agenda item, I did want to say that repeat that last meeting, we agreed that there would be a standing agenda item near the beginning. And so to suggest an agenda item for the next meeting. And so I would like to see that as agenda item, standing agenda item number 6, so that we can bring our best thoughts to this meeting at an early stage.
So does anyone have any thoughts on that, objections or concur? So I'll tell you my thought on it. I'm fine with that as long as we are posting all the attachments to the current meeting, so we know what we're going to be discussing when we are proposing future agenda items. So we can ask that that be moved up. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So any public comment? Seeing none, I'm going to move on to item 6, which is bond status program spending update. And I heard from Kathy, you can tell us what you emailed me this afternoon.
Yes, Keith Kajia, who is the AECom bond program manager, had an emergency dental situation, so he was not available to attend the meeting this evening. And because it was an emergency, did not have sufficient time to get a replacement for that. So he asked that that presentation be postponed until the next meeting.
Okay, thank you. And once again, if we could just get the actual presentation.
Yeah.
We would have at least had the opportunity to look at it, so.
I will request that. Since, we do not have control of that. It depends on whether they have a presentation and one that is available. I will say that I did speak with someone on the next item, number 7. My understanding is the presentation is quite robust. And so we were going to connect after the meeting to figure out how to have that presentation posted as opposed to attempting to email it to everyone.
Okay, so that is the next item. So it is item 7, and it is small local emerging business SLEB program presentation from Shonda Scott. So welcome, Shonda. Shonda
Thank
and
you.
I know each other.
Yes, good to see you. You look great. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you.
I don't know if, well, real quick, before.
Shonda, should I stop screen sharing so you can?
Oh, yes, that would be great. But before I start, I just wanted to let you know that that application was originally linked. The application link was originally linked to the district's main website, and that got changed. And so Mark Johnson had sent it to us not too long ago, and it's updated. So it's actually, the actual application is on that Bill Peralta page now. It's not a link anymore. It's actually, we have access to the application. So it's the application there. And I checked it and it's working, and the application is able to be downloaded and completed.
Okay, thank you.
So it was just a technology change that happened. But and a number of that's going to happen as the district builds up their website. And so we're preparing for that in conjunction with Mark Johnson and his team as they improve the district main site, links that are connected to Bill Peralta. We're disconnecting and then reconnecting as the district lets us know the new sites are up. But this one now is no longer a link. It's actually the application on your page on the Bill Peralta site.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And I'm not sure if Brian Slaughter wanted to say anything before I started.
Oh, I apologize. Brian?
Hi, good evening. Thank you. Yes, I did want to say something regarding the SLBE and SELBE program. As you know, I'm the director for purchasing for the district. We have a 25% goal for inclusion of small local businesses and small local emerging businesses throughout the district. With reference to the bond program, we partnered with Shonda, who's great. She's done a great job. And she can give you more detailed information about it by showing her slide or her presentation. So I just wanted to commend her. She's a good partner, and she will be able to give you specific information regarding the bond program for the small local business and small local emerging business requirements. Thanks. With that, I'll turn it over to Shonda.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Director Slaughter. So I'm sharing the screen now. Is everyone able to see the presentation?
Yes.
Okay, great. So good evening, Madam Chair and committee members, and I want to thank you for the opportunity to present before you today. I am Shonda Scott. I'm CEO and founder of 360 Total Concept, and my firm is the small local business partner on the AECOM program management team for the bond program. Personally, I have had over 20 years experience administering small business programs with notable best practices recognized nationally. Most recently, I served as the chair of the board of directors for the Oakland African American Chamber of Commerce from 2019 until January of this year. Prior to that, I was the vice chair for 3 years. I am an Oakland native, and although I've lived in other places, I've lived in Oakland most of my life. I am a second generation business owner in Oakland. And while I was in high school at Holy Names High School, I attended classes at Laney College during the summer. And after graduating from UCLA, I studied real estate through the program that Merritt College has. So I am pleased to be a part of the program management team helping the district maximize its small local business participation on the capital program. And as a best practice, the more the district engages with the local community, business community as a true community partner, the better the opportunity to yield maximum participation of local businesses on the bond program. The community develops a trust that the district is serious about its small local business commitment. Keeping the community informed about opportunities to partner with the district is key to maintaining that trust. And the ways we have implemented the business outreach on the district's bond program are by hosting large outreach forums, providing updates on future contracting opportunities. In fact, when our team became the program manager for the bond program, immediately we hosted a large community outreach event, even though it was in the midst of a pandemic. So we were one of the first virtual events of this kind hosted by Peralta Community College and in this region. And now a year later, it's the standard now. So in addition to the outreach forums, we started hosting virtual matchmaking meetings as well. And that's where prime contractors and small local firms are connected for teaming opportunities to help meet the project's SLBE goal, which is small local business enterprise. Then this year, in addition to the outreach forums and the matchmaking, we started hosting community partner briefings with local business organizations. And I'll speak more about that later on in the presentation. Our team is committed to providing the best strategies to the district to maximize the utilization of small local businesses and reinvest the voter approved bond dollars into the local community. This slide highlights the outreach events we've hosted to date and the additional ones that are planned for the rest of this calendar year. As you can see, about every 6 months, we provide a program-wide update. And each fall, we launch the Build Peralta Academy, which I will talk more about. We launched the first academy last fall. And for major projects, such as the large design build projects at the Berkeley Community College West, we host matchmaking sessions for all of those large projects. And these are all to create an environment to maximize the utilization of small local businesses on the Peralta Community College capital program. And just speaking a bit about those matchmaking sessions, because the design build for the Berkeley Community College is a progressive design build, and that means that this designed and constructed progressively. So trades and subcontractors will come on throughout the project. So we're going to have the third matchmaking for that project next week, because each phase we're engaging pools of small local businesses that are in those special trades that are going to be the bids that are coming out for the next trade. So all throughout this progressive design build process, we will progressively have matchmaking sessions as well, as a way to help that project get the maximum utilization of small local businesses. These next couple of slides are just data that we pulled from the last outreach forum we had on October 26th. We track the demographics of the business owners, the types of business, and their certifications. Whenever we host an outreach, we collect information on the firms to enable us to help identify small local businesses available to do the work on the district's project. And this annual revenue is important to the small local business program that the district has. But this slide also shows that most of the firms that attended were small local businesses. This slide just highlights the types of firms that attended that last session and some of the data we've collected. And these are the certifications that we identified, and the none could apply to those firms that wouldn't qualify for any of these certifications, but also it applies to firms that are certifiable but aren't certified now. So we follow up with those small local firms that meet the district's requirement and encourage them to get certified. And we know that we have to have a pool of qualified firms to maximize the SLBE participation on the district projects. So we help small firms successfully navigate through a program we created called Build Peralta Academy. And my colleague, Dr. Bonnie James of BRJ and Associates, who also is a subcontractor on the bond program, we've been working together about building this program out, and we launched it in last year. It had a 9-part series of boot camps. And this year, I'm pleased to say that our first session was a few weeks ago, and Director Slaughter was our subject matter expert, and he provided the attendees with information on how to do business with Peralta Community College, as well as educating them on how to get pre-qualified, which is important because the contractors that are interested in working on the district projects have to be pre-qualified as part of the process, pre-qualified as a contractor. And so we want to make sure that the pools of small local businesses that we identified are also pre-qualified so they can help meet this small local participation. So these kind of resources help firms also receive information to help them build the capacity, grow their business and build the capacity of their business as well. The quote at the bottom is from the SBA district director who participated in one of our subject matter experts in the Build Peralta Academy that was held in January of this year. And not only did she note that the sessions were informative and very helpful, she also was appreciative that we have, because of the virtual world, we record them and have them online. So they're now webinars for attendees who attend that want to have a refresher, and also those who are unable to attend. That resource is online at the Build, on the Build Peralta website. And she's actually sharing it with her SBA world of businesses as a resource as well. So that's not only going to help the small local businesses that are interested in working on Peralta colleges, but it also informs the community of this free resource that the bond program is providing for small businesses. And actually any business can look on the website and use it as a resource. And this is just a slide just on information that we collected from the inaugural series. We want to cast a wide net so that we are attracting as many stakeholders as possible. One, we are trying to increase the small local business participation, but also we want to increase the awareness of the bond program and the resources that are being provided through the voter approved bond dollars. Since the district's SLBE program has a regional and revenue size standard that is unique to the district, it is paramount that we track key information about the firms to identify as many as we can that can help meet this small local business requirement. And this is some of the other information we just track with, the locations of where the firms are, Alameda County, within the Alameda County, that's specifically to the Peralta district. How much experience they've had working with Peralta, because we want to get a pool of firms, new firms that don't know about the program, so we know that the awareness is impactful. Sorry, my little key is a little sensitive. And then we also asked the firms that attend if it's helpful, and they gave us a 6.5 out of 5, 4.6 rating. And then we also are tracking how many firms are attending, because part of what Dr. James and the PMO team and I are working on and with the district is to find a way how this Peralta program can be something that firms can use as a benefit when they're bidding contracts. It could be an added point that they get if they attended a Peralta Community College or things like that. Because I know in other worlds, other municipalities, when firms put in their proposals, they often use the certificate of completions in their proposal to show that they're actually trying to build the capacity of their firm, that they actually have taken time out of their evening to participate in these workshops. So just trying to find ways where that is an added benefit, firms that are participating, and this resource through the community college bond program. And as I mentioned earlier, this year we started hosting community partner briefings with local business organizations in the Peralta Community College District. And both Interim Chancellor Jackson and Interim Vice Chancellor Smith, as well as Director Brian Slaughter, have joined the PMO team, which is Program Management Team, for these focus group briefings with the business organizations. Some have been Rotaries and Chambers, and the list of the ones that we've attended to date are highlighted on the slide. Some of these organizations are important for the district to partner with because they're up close and personal conversations with the organizations to get a deeper engagement with the PMO team as well as the district officials, with the intention to inform the community partners about the construction plans that are going to happen in their area and also the benefits to that work for the reinvestment in their community from the bond dollars. And we really have increased the communications to the community on all things Build Peralta. All of our outreach procurements are advertised in the local diverse newspapers. So that's another way that we're partnering with small local businesses, because all of those are small local businesses. You can see by the examples, we have them translated in various languages as well. Build Peralta website hosts these announcements, as well as the main Peralta website. And we have also created a social media presence for the Build Peralta program that we're really trying to build up, because that way, in between the outreach and the other engagement, we are communicating daily on social media. And we, with Mark Johnson's team, the Peralta Colleges site and the Build Peralta site, we share each other's information and we follow each other, and we're all trying to help provide as much communication to the community on what's happening great at Peralta, and for us, how the voter approved bond money is being spent in their community. And the next slide is just to show you some of, because if you're not on social media, we would like you to go follow Build Peralta. It's on every platform the same way, except we're not on TikTok or Snapchat yet, but everywhere else you can find us. And it just, those are just examples. Does that go? Is it moving yet? Because we've got a lot of movement. So this is one of the stories that are hosted on the IG and Facebook pages. So you can see the content is incredible. It's really informative, and we're just trying to get as many followers to follow it and build it up so that people can have all these different resources to find out about the Peralta Community College Bond program, and especially focusing on small local business participation. We've actually provide information on the pre-qualification, how to get registered, just everywhere we can find a touch to see if we can increase the pool of contractors that can participate on this bond program. And this actually is an example of the campaign that we had in the newspaper for get registered. We say the first way to do business with Peralta, the first step is to get registered. That's another way to have a larger pool of contractors available to work on the district project. Now, after all the outreach and engagement, what is our process for increasing the SLBE participation? Well, we've implemented an SLBE verification process. Part of that starts in the beginning, where we've identified PCCD SLBE eligible firms that can meet the revenue and geographical requirements that the district has. And those firms are certified. Since the district isn't a certified agency, they're certified with a public agency, local, state, or national, but they have to be certified in the districts as a small local business within the 6 cities that make up the Peralta Community College District. So that preliminary list is not an exclusive list, it's a list that we've identified firms, and we have it listed on the website, on the Build Peralta website as well, so that contractors can see that there is a pool that we've verified as eligible. However, we're also part of the SLBE verification is also part of our bid and RFP process. So they have to then turn in additional information for us to verify it for the contracting opportunity, for them to meet the 25% participation on all the projects. The primes also have to submit at the time of bid and RFP submittal or RFQ, their breakdown of how they're going to meet the 25% SLB participation. So they'll complete they have to identify the firms, the percentage, the contract dollar amount prior to award. Once their award, they show their commitment there and the award happens monthly. Now they're having to submit tracking reports to verify their commitment. So as the project advances, you'll see their commitments will increase to meet the 25%. So it's going to be being tracked monthly. So now that the PMO is completing the award of all the bench contracts, and we are moving to design and into construction, where we know there'll be a lot more subcontracting opportunities and a higher volume of work, I look forward to, in a few months, providing more on the SLBE participation update as we move into the heavy construction on the bond program. And that concludes my presentation today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Very thorough. Yes. So Harriet Scott is saying yes. So does anyone have any comments? Patricia, Benjamin, Marcus, questions or comments?
This is Benjamin. Thank you for a very thorough and upbeat presentation. Good work.
Thank you.
Patricia, Marcus?
I have a question in regards to the zip codes. Because you showed a map of all the zip codes. Do you have like the actual list of zip codes? Because I saw some down look like they're in Southern California, and I don't know exactly where those other zip codes are. Do you have a list of actual zip codes? Because I know the Peralta is in Alameda County.
Right. So we show all the ones that attended, but we also we identify the ones were in that area. So we do track all the zip codes. And since they're virtual, people are attending from outside of the Bay Area, and we don't exclude them from attending, but our focus is on tracking the ones that are in the Peralta zip codes.
Okay, thank you.
And not even, we just track Alameda, but we also narrow down to Peralta because we know all of Alameda County are not included in the Peralta district.
Okay, so did Harriet Scott, do you have a question? No? Okay, I thought
A lot of Scots on here.
I know there are. Scott family.
Okay.
I'm the proverbial great Scott.
Okay.
Questions or comments? Well, thank you very much. And, you know, I think you're lucky to be a part of the AECOM team over there. They're doing some exciting work and it's progressing right along. So appreciate it. And
Great.
Look forward to hearing back from you in 3 or 4 months when, you know, it's at another level. So, okay.
Great. Thank you. I look forward to it as well. And
Thank
good
you.
seeing you again. Good to see you.
Yeah, take care. Thanks.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
So we're on to item 8, which is the 1920 CBOC. It should be the actual annual report, not. It is the public report, but it's the annual report to the citizens. So I worked on it, and it's probably actually my bad that I didn't send it, the most recent copy to you, Kathy, because I'm not sure if you have it, a draft. I know that there was a draft floating around a few months ago. But anyway, I will commit to finish this by the end of this month. And I'm hoping that I know that, or I don't want to put words in anyone's mouth, but I believe that Benjamin Scott and Patricia might have been willing to be of some assistance, at least in editing the remarks back. Either one of you want to comment on that? I know Marcus said he was too busy.
I can't. I would just need a, you can send me an email and then maybe we can do it over Zoom one day.
Okay, that sounds great. All right.
Okay.
Sounds terrific. So with that, we will move on and to item 9, which is the website subcommittee report. Marcus Crowley.
Well, we really don't have anything to report. We've both been very busy during this last month and have not had a meeting on this website, but we hope to have one soon.
Okay, and I think, are you going to put some recommendations forward? Is that the idea?
What's the question again?
Well, you're saying you're going to be working on it, correct?
Right. Our thoughts are this CBOC is supposed to be independent, and we are required by statute to have a website
Correct.
for this CBOC. And therefore, what is on the website, we should decide. And we've never had a meeting or a discussion on what is on the website, and if that is exactly what we want as the CBOC. So it's more or less been imposed on us, and we have a duty to decide. So we're discussing that.
Okay, I think it's an opportunity to put some ideas forward, right?
Yes,
Okay, so then what you're saying is your plan is to do that by next month?
during this next month, we will continue discussing our ideas about the existing website. And when we have made sufficient progress, we will like to share it with our CBOC full meeting.
So who are you working on this with?
Patricia and I have had a couple of discussions about it.
Got it. Okay. All right. So it was looking to me like Shonda Scott has her hand raised. So Shonda?
Yes, are you referring to the Build Peralta website and the CBOC page?
Yes, presently, the CBOC website material is on the Build Peralta page.
Correct. And are you wanting that? You're going to recommend recommendations to update that, or is it a different page that you're referring to?
We're discussing that.
Okay. All right. Well, we handle the website. And so we would love to work with you for what you want on that page, because you're right. It was just to start to get something up, to have it available for the community to have access to information. But if you have some more specific things that you want, we would love to, be a part of that with you to make that happen.
Okay, thank you, Chandra. We didn't know who's in charge of it, so you've given us some clarity there. Thank you.
Okay, and Kathy, do you have some thoughts on this?
Yeah, I apologize that I don't have access to the hand raise because I'm sharing screen. But I have been talking with Shonda about starting to add some more information to that site. And she requested basically just some basic information that the public would be interested in, which would be just short biographical descriptions of each of the committee members and pictures of each of the members and the basic kind of thing that you would have on a website like that. I did send out a request for that, so I'm wondering if it would be the committee's direction or desire to include that kind of public information on the site, and if so, if we could get that to start populating the site with that information.
May I respond to that, please?
Sure.
Yeah, thank you for the idea of posting our biographical information and possibly our photographs on the website, on our CBOC website. We have never discussed that before. And that is one of the things that we'll be talking about and have a recommendation to the full CBOC. My opinion is that it is the CBOC website is for the CBOC, and we thank you for the idea, but I think that we need to make the decision that it's our website, and so far it's not been our website. Now maybe we're going to look at it and say we really love everything that's there, and we take full responsibility for it. But so far, we haven't done that.
Yeah, so I understand. So I think put forward your thoughts on this, and but I agree with you that we want to make sure that it looks like it's independent from Build Peralta. It could have a link there, but in some way it should have a level of independence if it's not by title, whatever it is. But I think there needs to be another link that takes you there. So if you never care about looking at the actual Build Peralta's website, you're going to go from another page. When you type in the Citizens Bond Oversight, you're going to be able to find all the information related to oversight, and then it may link you over to Build Peralta. That would be my thoughts on it. But I know that Marcus and Patricia, you can work on it. And I know Shonda Scott's very savvy on all this stuff. So her offering to work with you on this through Kathy is great.
Thank you, Andrea. You said it better than I did.
Okay. All right. So any other thoughts on this topic? Any other public to comment on this topic? All right, so we are to item 10, which you have any thoughts on next meeting agenda recommendations?
Well, Andrea, yes, I do. You know, I think that we need to establish some procedures so that we do not take up as much time as we have on this meeting. And so for example, like right now, we don't know how the agenda is drafted, whether a suggestion by a member gets incorporated to it, whether you send off a proposed agenda to the district to post, whether the district sends it to you to approve. We don't know. It's just a big mystery. So I think that we should talk about what is our procedure for establishing the next agenda. And so I would like to see that we have 15, 20 minutes so that we can all weigh in and develop what our procedure is. So,
okay. I mean, I think that the procedure it needs to be that the district gets it at least 2 weeks in advance. If we have recommendations for the agenda, that they do not have to be made this evening. Ideally, they should be made this evening for the next meeting. But if something comes up that you want to have as a topic, or the district wants to suggest something, that's where it gets a little more complicated. In other words, the Slbe presentation, at one point we asked for this, but I didn't necessarily know it was coming this evening, which it was great that it was coming this evening. But I think that we do know that we have to give staff ample time to prepare for the next meeting.
yeah.
So, and that's gotta, I believe, be at least 2 weeks.
So Andrea, let's set up an agenda item next time so we can all discuss this. I know, so I'm discussing a little bit of it, you're discussing a little bit of it, but I would like to see an agenda item saying a discussion, and let's call it an action item, because if we come to an agreement, then we should all be able to vote and have it our way of doing things.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
So any other,
Hi,
Can I get some clarification on that? So you want to add an agenda item to approve a process for adding agenda items?
Yes.
well, I would say it's approve the structure of our meetings, approving agenda items and the structure of our meetings. And I believe Patricia wanted to say something too.
I would just like to add a 2022 calendar so that we can have all the meetings planned tentatively in advance. And then I don't know, I know the agenda minutes are available, but are the recordings also available? And if not, can we make those available of this Zoom?
The recordings are available if you look at the top of, I believe it's the minutes. It will give you the recording link. So if you go to the draft minutes that you were sent for this meeting, it will show you the recording link for that meeting.
Okay, not for me, for the general public.
I'm sorry?
Not for me. I don't need to hear the meeting that I was in, but just a recording of our meeting so the public can view it. So just like next to the agenda in the minutes, it will be the recording as well.
Once the minutes are approved, then they'll be published for the public.
Including the recording, a link to the recording.
Yes.
Okay. So Marcus Crowley.
Yes, regarding Patricia Ellis's suggestion that we establish the future meetings for next year, I think that's a great one. Tonight, we are on the second Wednesday of the month. If there is not a better idea, let's just say that the second Wednesday of every month, we'll have our CBOC meeting.
Is everyone in agreement on that? Do we want to take a roll call?
I agree. If it's a,
Would you like a roll call
feasible for,
vote?
We can just, Patricia agrees, Marcus agrees. So Benjamin, is this good with you?
I apologize. There's been a lot of bouncing balls. So what specifically we are agreeing on?
That the second Wednesday of the month will be our meeting night.
Okay, if that's all we're talking about, then yes.
Okay, so we're gonna leave it at that, and Hubert is not here this evening, and if we get other new members, we might have to revisit this, but we'll just going forward, we'd like to put that on the calendar. Let's call it just for the next 3 months. Okay,
Can I, so we're flexible then with our meeting dates? Because I'm just finding it interesting that we're debating about what kind of minutes to take and when to meet. And I mean, this just sounds like we're getting set up for the first time.
we're not really flexible, but we had some glitches on agendas being posted in timely. So when Mark Johnson left, so the dates have bounced around a little bit. So this is why we're trying to just zone into like a date that's consistent.
I mean, for me, I don't know. I'm just going to speak for myself as a member, but if there's a consistency in the dates, it's super easy to plan. When they keep getting moved, that's when you lose people.
We're not going to move. That's the point. We're going to say it's this evening, which is the second Wednesday of the month. And the only reason I said, let's put it on the calendar for the next 3 months is because if we happen to get, which I've been asking for additional members, we may have to revisit it if we get 2 new members. But for December, January, and February, I think we should calendar them right now.
Okay, I'm just gonna, whenever I've joined a board, I've always been asked, are you able to make the, pre-committed meeting dates and times, yes or no?
Right.
And if they can't, then they don't become members.
Well, that would have to be in the, posted with the application, I think, then. We would have to, if we're gonna agree to that, that this is for the next year, that this is the date.
It just makes things easier for everybody, in my opinion.
What, Patricia?
People are
Mark, what do
remarkably
you think?
flexible if something is predetermined versus choice.
Right, so Patricia and Marcus, what do you think?
Okay.
I agree.
I
I'm in
just-
law
I just-
school and I have to know exactly how everything goes. Otherwise I'll miss something. So if I know that it's the second Wednesday of every month, I'll make sure I'm here. But if
Okay.
it jumps around, I can't commit.
Okay, well, let's commit and for, through June of next year then, okay?
Yes, let's do. And if there is a reason that we need to change it, fine, then we can change it.
But let's just calendar it for through June of next year.
Yeah,
So-
right now, I don't know, the second Wednesday of next month, well, I guess in July, it's not going to be on the 4th of July, but it could end up being on Easter or something like that, in which case we'll have to change it.
Well, yeah, that's true, but I don't think the second Wednesday is ever gonna be on the 4th of July, because no. Okay, so anyway, moving on. New business. Is there any new business?
Andrea, I don't have any new business. I do have a few things I want to discuss, but I want them to be future agenda items, so I will mention them, at least one of them next meeting.
So you don't want it to be part of next meeting then?
I mean, at the next meeting, I will say the meeting after the next, I would like to talk about some other thing. But I think we have plenty on our plate right now to talk about next meeting. And we're already over time
Okay.
tonight.
All right, sounds good. So with that, if there's no public comments,
I do have one question. Who is Harriet Scott? I've never seen her before. I just don't know who she is.
She was at the last meeting and she was
Yes, she
introduced
was.
to
I
as
recognize you.
one of the associate who works side by side with me.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah,
So she's part of the staff then, the district staff.
She is part of Neo Resource System Associate.
Oh, okay. I didn't know whether she's a new member or what.
No, she was introduced to you last meeting.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
yes,
Well,
all righty.
I'm going to have to be reminded of things now and then.
Okay, well, all of us, me too,
Yeah.
or me anyway, I won't speak for everybody else. So, but with that, I'll say good evening to everyone, and we will see everyone next in December, and that would be December the 8th, which is the second Wednesday of December at 5:30.
And I will note that the December and January meetings have already been publicly posted.
Okay,
So you do
thank
not
you.
have to worry about whether they were done in time.
All righty. Thank you so much. All right. Good evening, everyone.
Goodbye.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Goodbye.
Good night.